Hey guys, what's up? Back with another video. This time we're going to do a classic WWE pay-per-view review. This time we have the WWE Backlash 2004. So let's get this on the way, shall we? We kicked off the show with Shelton Benjamin versus Ric Flair. That's your boy, Ric Flair versus Shelton Benjamin. This was a fine opener, typical Ric Flair stuff where, he flips and he flops and he goes to the top rope for that move that he never hits and he always gets, reversed and he gets thrown off like Ric Flair always does, he does the Flair flop and everything. Shelton, it was pretty good, and Shelton Benjamin was on a bit of a roll after beating Triple H 2 straight weeks in a row, and making an enemy out of Evolution, so, this was a pretty fine opener with Shelton Benjamin, of course, getting the victory, because, Ric Flair was wearing red trunks. So Ric Flair's going to lose when he wears the red trunks. So always keep that in mind when watching a Ric Flair match. Pretty good stuff. It was fine. It was a fine opener. Next match we have Jonathan Coachman. Yes, Jonathan Coachman. That's Jonathan Coachman versus Tajiri. This was terrible, man. This was terrible. It should have been a squash match. It's either that or it should have been on like a Sunday Night Heat, like a C show or, a D show, not Backlash, not a pay-per-view. Nothing against Jonathan Coachman the person, it's just, it's Coachman. It's Jonathan Coachman. So, yeah, this was bad. I didn't really like it too much, to Jerry going back and forth with Coachman and, and of course, the end, Garrison Cage comes out and helps Coach to win, so yeah, it was a terrible match, and I didn't really like it too much, so there you go. Coachman gets the win. And we move on, we move on very fast. We have the next match, we have Captain Charisma, Christian, teaming up with Trish Stratus, taking on Chris Jericho in a handicap match. This is a story about betrayal and love, as usually these kind of storylines do start out with. And no, I'm not talking about Captain Charisma and Chris Jericho. That'd be the love of the Christies. Yeah, this was a good match. I like this match. Where Christian and Jericho did most of the work, and Trish, Trish was on. Trish did her bit very well. The heel, the heel woman who keeps getting the attention of Jericho and getting the advantage. And yeah, it was fine. It was a good match. I really liked it. The only thing I didn't like, well, I say didn't like, it was kind of it did get annoying after a while, was Jerry the King Lawler's perviness over Trish. Like, there was a bit where she was bending over the top rope to check on Christian, and she was concerned, for Christian, who'd just been beat up. And Jerry Lawler was like, puppies, she's very concerned about Captain Charisma. Oh, she needs to bend over the top rope a little bit more. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Jerry. Behave yourself. Put the cowboy hat on if you have to. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus. So yeah, that was apart from Jerry Lawler's perviness over Trish, this was alright. Pretty good match. Anyway, next match, Chris Jericho gets the win after, we got a little bit of he got a little bit of revenge on Captain Charisma, Christian and Trish. So, pretty good stuff. Then we had the next match. Oh my God! Speaking of perviness, we have Victoria defending the women's championship against Lita. This was a good match. The crowd didn't seem to care too much because this was the era of the women's wrestling where all they wanted to see was puppies and bra and panty matches and stuff. So, the kind of thing, look at women. So yeah, they tried to have a good wrestling match, but the crowd didn't really seem to care because all they wanted to see was puppies. I blame Jerry Lawler. But yeah, it was fine for what it was, and Victoria picks up the win. Nothing too much to say about that. It was a shame that the crowd didn't care. They really have built. It's taken a long time, but I think the crowd, in today's day and age in 2022, kind of do care a little bit more about the actual women wrestling. So rather than just saying, we want puppies. So yeah, it was fine. It was fine for what it was. Next match, speaking of, well, not speaking of puppies or what, anything to do with that, we have something that wasn't fine. It was beautiful. Oh, it was beautiful. Magnificent. We have Randy Orton defending the Intercontinental Championship in a hardcore match against Mick Foley / Cactus Jack / whatever, the insane dude, Mick Foley when he gets hardcore. This was awesome. This was unbelievable. It was, as I wrote in my notes, it was beautiful violence. You had, beautiful violence. Randy Orton getting barbed wire wrapped around his face, and that was phenomenal. As somewhat, as in that deep side of me, who saw not that long ago watching The Fiend get burned by Randy Orton, so that part of me did kind of enjoy Randy Orton getting destroyed from pillar to post by Mick Foley. But yeah, but putting that aside, it was fantastic. It was beautiful. It was awesome. It was everything you wanted from a hardcore match. Blood, barbed wire, tacks. And, the right person won because, it was for the Intercontinental Championship and Randy Orton was young back then. So, yeah, pretty decent stuff. And, probably, between this and the main event, gotta say that they probably it was a tie-in for my match of the night. So, awesome stuff. Speaking of that, and then next match. Something that wasn't awesome. We had La Resistance taking on Rosie and Hurricane. This was a come down, pointless match. I get why they did it, to get the crowd, to give the crowd a little bit of a rest before the big main event match. But it was very pointless. I don't understand why this match really had to take place. Like, I get why they did it, but to me personally, watching it is like, we could have done without it. Like, this could have been on Sunday Night Heat or Monday Night Raw, in the middle of Monday Night Raw. So I didn't really care too much about it. And then of course, it even got made even worse by Eugene, who this was his first pay-per-view as the Eugene character, coming out and just being Eugene. I'm like, which annoyed me because it's like, it was a pointless match to begin with, and then you got this guy, you got this Eugene coming out and like, look everybody, he's special. Oh, look, he's medically, he's mentally, challenged. I'm like, I don't usually get offended by that kind of stuff, but it was just like, like, the way that they were going like, look Eugene, look at Eugene, he's so, like, having him walk down the ramp and just, in awe by everything, like, look, fans, look, a flag, look, a turnbuckle, and then he starts getting in the ring and running the ropes while there's a match going on, then it's like, I get it, he's a special child, they do it in mentally challenged, mentally, where someone who's got problems, but, I don't know, I'm not going to talk about it too much, because, I don't want to be a downer about this pay-per-view. But, I just didn't like the Eugene factor in this match or this pay-per-view. Anyway, that was enough. That Eugene's distractions were enough to distract a lot of Resistance, and Hurricane and Rosie got the win. Pointless match. Anyway, next match, we have Edge versus Kane. This is Edge's first pay-per-view match back, or his first match back in 14 months. After having neck surgery in 2003, so this is his first match back, and boy howdy, this was a stinker. Did not like this match whatsoever. It did its job, I guess, but it just didn't. They tried to add, factors into the match, like, Edge has got a broken hand, but is it really broken? So he used the cast to beat the monster. But I don't think it needed it. Like, it was Edge's first match back, and I don't think it needed the whole, like, is his hand really, the broken hand stuff. Like, you could have gone out there and had a good match with Kane, but it was what it was. It was a stinker. Surely, it wasn't the way I would have planned Edge's return. But yeah, it was what it was. Okay. Anyway, Edge gets the win, and with by using the cast, it was there. And then, of course, the main event, we have Chris Benoit taking on Triple H and Shawn Michaels, as my hand starts to become a little bit restless by holding this device. Chris Benoit versus Shawn Michaels versus Triple H in the rematch from WrestleMania. This is their second encounter, the final encounter as it was advertised as. This was a good main event, great main event. You had they were in Canada, of course, so Shawn Michaels was booed out the building almost with the "You screwed Brett" chants, and Earl Hebner later came in as the referee. As a little bit of a pointer to the Montreal screw job, because how WWE has a boat when it WWE always gets a boner when it comes to the Montreal screw job. They can't let it go for some reason. It does get annoying after a while when you revisit pay-per-views. It's like, oh, they're in Canada. Oh, it's the Montreal screw job. Haha, you remember what we did in '97? It's 2004 at this point, guys. We need to fucking move on. So yeah, it's been like 25 years now, like crazy. But yeah, and we still hear about it. But yeah, apart from that, it was a great match. And Shawn Michaels, Jesus Christ, wrong person. Chris Benoit was victorious. He retained the World Championship. That was nice to see in his hometown of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I think I said that wrong. Sorry, guys. Yeah, he made Shawn Michaels tap to the sharpshooter, which was pretty nice, which was set up very lovely, where Triple H brought the sledgehammer out and he hit Shawn right in the spine with the sledgehammer, which, it might, that could be a 6-month injury angle right there, but it was just the setup for the finish. But yeah, pretty good stuff, we're pretty happy, pretty great stuff, and Chris Benoit retained, so, good big thumbs up, big way to end the pay-per-view. So yeah, there you go. There you go, guys. There's my pay-per-view review. Oh, before I forget, because I know Beatdown Bunny will be yelling at me in the comments that I didn't show the disc. Only kidding, buddy. I love you, buddy. Yeah, there you go. There's the disc. Same as the cover. Pretty cool stuff. Chris Benoit. There you go. So yeah, in overall, pretty decent pay-per-view. Pretty decent pay-per-view. It was pretty good. I liked it. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. There were some problems with it, with Coachman and beating to Jerry and Eugene, getting the Eugene factor, and the references to Montreal in the main event. But apart from that, pretty solid stuff. Give it a 7 out of 10. There you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. And I'm out. Bam.